is the Ghost Forward Magnifier. As the name implies, this sits forward of your existing optic, unlike traditional side flip magnifiers. And it effectively doubles the magnification of your optic. And we're going to see how well that works on this episode. Let's start by unboxing this thing, but don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with tedious unpacking footage. Instead, let's take a look at what you get in the box. This is the Monstrum Ghost Forward Magnifier, and this looks like pretty much every other magnifier I've held, except that one key difference here, well, as you can tell by the name, this is a forward magnifier. It's meant to be positioned forward in front of your optic, whether it's a red dot or a prism scope. And since this is a 2x magnifier, if you have a prism that's, say, 3 power, this would give you effectively 6 power in overall magnification. And I got a chance to see this for the first time over at SHOT Show, and I've been really eager to test this out. Now, this comes with a flip to the side mount, and it comes default with flip to the right, but you can unscrew these 2 screws here and then flip this around, and you'll have a flip to the left, up user's choice. Now, it has adjustments here, and overall it has 50 MOA of adjustments. The turret caps unscrew, and underneath it's pretty much a standard, very much like very many red dots here. You can adjust it, and the top of the cap has a flat head, sort of like a mini screwdriver flat head there. You can adjust it, and let's just take a listen. Not super loud, but tactile positive. And you'll be using that to adjust it specifically to your particular optic. And this is intended to go in front of your optic, specifically if you need that extra space, extra eye relief, or if you have to have extra eye relief, like on a scout scope. Or in my case, I'm going to be mounting this onto a Keltec Sub 2000, which doesn't have any rails above its main receiver section of the firearm. You really have to mount this far forward. So I'm very eager to test this out, so let's take it out next. Before we get started with the test, I'd just like to take a quick break here to talk about this episode's sponsor, Aura. You've seen the news, those huge data breaches that have compromised mine and probably your data. That's why it's important to be proactive. Now, for the cost of just a VPN, I'm getting a whole suite of security services, including $1 million in identity theft insurance, fraud alerts, spam blockers, and they're even removing me from those damn data broker listings. After a month of using Aura, I've seen my spam mail go down by more than half, and I'm not getting any robocalls anymore. For an election year, that's priceless. Speaking of priceless, I'm giving you the opportunity to try them for free. Use my link, aura.com/moondog, and you can try them for 14 days, free. No contracts, no commitments. And if you use that link, you're helping to support this channel. You know, identity fraud is a real thing, and with AI, it's all too easy to spoof your identity. That's why you should try out Aura. Alright, let's get back to the tests. I've set up reference targets 50 yards away, and with the magnifier you can really see those targets much more clearly. But also note the position of the dot is shifted, so you do need to adjust the 0 on your magnifier. And you can do that with the turret caps or a flathead screwdriver. So I'm just going to adjust it up and to the right to line it up with the position of the dot without the magnifier. An interesting side benefit is that because the dot isn't being magnified, it is half the size that it was previously relative to the target, which offers you a much finer aim point as a bonus. Without the magnifier, the green dot is aligned approximately to the bottom of that triangle, and with the magnifier, yeah. So now it's zeroed, or at least I think it is. Let's try it out. Alright, I've set up a clean target and I am 50 yards away, and I'm going to take 3 slow shots with the green dot at the bottom right diamond. Alright, I've rocked in the Ghost magnifier and I'm going to take 3 shots on the top left target. Oh, I can tell you right now, with the magnifier, it is a lot easier to see that corner diamond target. Without it, even with prescription glasses at 50 yards, it just looks like a blurry shape. I had a better experience in terms of being able to pick out my target at 50 yards with the magnifier on, obviously. It was like night and day in terms of being able to see detail. I could generally tell if I was on target with the red dot by itself, but really I was, you know how it is, you're kind of guessing. But let's see how well I did with the magnifier in comparison. As I walk up to the target, and this is going to be my first time seeing the results firsthand, I'd just like to remind you, hit that like button and leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of side flip magnifiers and this particular optic. So I was aiming here. These are the 3 shots I got with my red dot at 50 yards. I was aiming here. These are the 3 shots I got with the magnifier. I'd like to thank Monstrum Tactical for sending out this Monstrum Ghost 2x magnifier for me to test. And as you saw in my tests, it really does live up to its advertising. It effectively doubles the effectiveness of your red dot or your prism magnifier. Now, I like this better than traditional magnifiers because it does sit in front of your optic for a couple of different reasons. One is traditional magnifiers, you have to put it in between your Mark 1 eyeball and your optic. And, you know, these tend to have very robust tubes because they need to for ruggedness and to hold such big pieces of glass. So, yeah, they block a lot of your peripheral, your field of view just because of the size of the housings on this. And even worse, when you side flip it, which you know is the main benefit of it, so you can use your primary optic, now it's blocking my weak eye and blocking even more of my peripheral vision. Now, with this as a forward magnifier, this is further out and it's blocking far less of my field of view even when it is canted out. So I like this and I would consider using this, whereas I don't really like regular traditional magnifiers. And the other thing I don't like about traditional magnifiers is they tend to have pretty bad eye relief and pretty narrow eye box. This one has effectively an unlimited eye relief to it because I could hold this out at arm's length and I could still see through it. You could even potentially use this on a pistol if you had enough rail space on your pistol. And so that's something interesting to consider. And as far as I know, this is the only type of long eye relief magnifier out on the market. I know Primary Arms has a quote-unquote a long eye relief magnifier, traditional magnifier that sits between you and your optic, but the eye relief on that is less than 3 inches. So yeah, really, that's a long eye relief. This one has a long eye relief. But there is no free lunch though. One of the benefits is that you could put this onto a magnified optic, like say a 4x ACOG, and you could theoretically turn that into an 8 ACOG. But you are introducing a set of pieces of glass actually in front of your main optic, so you are losing light. You are introducing more distortions around the outer edges, and also because you have another lens system in front of your aim point, your zero is going to shift. Now you can adjust, you're supposed to adjust the zero on this like a traditional scope, adjusting the turrets here, which could be a benefit theoretically, because now you could set up 2 different distance zeros. You could have your primary one set at a 50 yard and then set this one so that it zeroes out at 100 yards. So that could be a benefit. But before you start thinking you're going to be turning your prism scope into a sniper platform, there is one other little caveat here. The hinge mechanism, the side flip that everybody loves about magnified scopes, they are not conducive to real precision here, because every time you side flip it and bring it back, it's never going to be exactly, it's going to be little fractions of a millimeter off in terms of its return position. And as anybody who's had to tighten a cabinet hinge, after a couple of years knows that the more you use it, the more play it's going to be introduced into the hinge. It's just the way that the hinge mechanism is designed. And yeah, I suppose you could make a more precise hinge mechanism using some exotic tungsten titanium alien alloy and engineer really precise bearings or something. Chances are at an $89 price point that this doesn't have that level of alien technology introduced into it. So, but that said, that is an inherent sort of problem with any side flip magnifier, traditional or forward in that case. And to be honest, in practical use with a 2x magnifier with just a red dot and your Mark 1 eyeball, you're going to have far more zero variance with your Mark 1 arms and hands at 100-yard distance than is going to be introduced by any hinge mechanism. But that's just my thinking about it. So if you're running a magnified prism scope or a red dot and would like to add a magnifier to it, I would consider this 2x magnifier. It certainly has a lot more benefits than drawbacks in terms of, from what I think a traditional magnifier does. So if you're interested in picking one up, I've included product links as well as more information in my full write-up at moondogindustries.com. You'll find a link to that article in this video's description. Use the affiliate links in that article and you're helping to support this channel. And of course, you could always help by simply hitting the like button. And subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. It doesn't cost anything to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. It just takes a second to press those buttons. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that and taking the time to watch this review. You be safe out there. Moondog, out. Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.